Around the world, there are places of danger, crisis, and risk that don't make headlines because they are no longer convenient to discuss. But they're still here, affecting people's lives, and worth examining precisely because they are often left ignored. This is worth knowing. Quiet facts with big consequences. Number 5. Centralia, Pennsylvania. On the surface, Centralia looks like an ordinary rural town in Pennsylvania. Quiet roads, trees, empty lots where houses once stood. But beneath it, a coal mine fire has been burning continuously since 1962. The fire began when trash was burned in an old mining pit and spread into an underground coal seam. Once ignited, it couldn't be extinguished. Coal burns slowly, underground, and can continue for decades or centuries. As the fire spread, it released carbon monoxide through cracks in the ground and weakened the earth above it. The danger wasn't visible, but it was always present. In 1981, a 12-year-old boy fell into a sudden sinkhole that opened beneath his feet. The hole dropped more than 60 feet and was filled with toxic gas. He survived by grabbing a tree root at the edge. That incident made the risk impossible to ignore. Over the following years, most residents were relocated, and the town was effectively erased. Streets were removed from maps. Buildings were demolished. Centralia stopped being treated as a place where people lived. But the fire never stopped. Today, the land still vents gas. The ground still shifts. The danger remains, not because it's dramatic, but because it's slow, underground, and no longer news. Centralia isn't dangerous because of where it is. It's dangerous because of a decision made decades ago, and a fire that never went out. Number 4. The Aral Sea Basin, Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan. The Aral Sea used to be one of the largest lakes in the world. But starting in the 1960s, the rivers that fed it, the Amu Darya and Sir Darya, were heavily diverted for large-scale irrigation, especially cotton. As the water supply dropped, the sea shrank, leaving behind exposed lakebed. Wind now lifts dust from that former seabed, often mixed with salts and agricultural chemicals, and carries it across nearby towns and farmland. By 1989, the Aral Sea had shrunk enough that it split into two separate bodies of water, the North Aral and the South Aral. It's a place that looks like open land and desert now, but the risk is what's in the air and what was left behind. Number 3. Bangladesh River Deltas. Large parts of Bangladesh sit on a vast network of river deltas formed by the Ganges and Brahmaputra rivers. The land is flat, fertile, and densely populated, shaped by centuries of seasonal flooding. The risk comes from how easily this landscape can be overwhelmed. When monsoon rains are heavier than usual, rivers spill far beyond their banks, flooding farmland, roads, and entire towns. In 1998, unusually intense monsoon rains caused flooding across nearly 2/3 of the country, displacing millions of people for weeks at a time. The land itself hasn't changed much. What's changed is how often extreme flooding now occurs, and how many people live directly in its path. Number 2. Lake Nyos is a small volcanic lake in northwest Cameroon. On the surface, it looks calm and unremarkable, surrounded by hills and farmland. The danger isn't visible. Carbon dioxide naturally seeps up from volcanic rock beneath the lake and dissolves into the deep water. Under the right conditions, that gas can suddenly be released all at once. That's what happened in 1986. A massive burst of carbon dioxide rose out of the lake and flowed downhill through nearby villages. The gas displaced oxygen in the air, suffocating more than 1,700 people while they slept. Afterward, Lake Nyos looked much the same as it always had. The risk wasn't removed, it was managed through long-term efforts to vent gas from the lake before it can build up again. Number 1. Abandoned uranium mines. Across the western United States, thousands of uranium mines were dug during the mid-20th century and later abandoned. Many were never properly sealed or cleaned up. The danger isn't obvious. Old mine shafts, tailings piles, and contaminated soil remain scattered across open land, often near homes, grazing areas, and water sources. In the Navajo Nation, uranium mining during the Cold War left behind hundreds of abandoned sites. For decades, residents were exposed to radioactive dust and contaminated water long after mining operations ended. The mining stopped. The exposure didn't. These places don't make headlines because they look ordinary, and because the harm unfolds slowly, over generations, rather than all at once. This was worth knowing. Quiet facts, big consequences.